if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, listen and follow along through this video, because this will be the most valuable video you probably will ever watch. So this is called setting anchors, becoming the tortoise versus the hares. Now, if you're familiar with the story of the tortoise versus the hares make quick progress, but end up losing to the slow tortoise making consistent progress. The goal of this video is to turn you into that tortoise making strong, consistent progress towards your goal, as opposed to being a hare making rushed and fast progress, inconsistently facing burnout and those things. So imagination time. Imagine a world where you can plan to waste 1 to 2 hours of your day either watching YouTube, playing video games, or going out drinking, yet still make more consistent and more high quality work and progress than literally everyone else competing with you. That is the goal of this video. So, some simple story time. Imagine that you are a sailor on a boat, right? And imagine that you are on this boat and you are going towards your destination and you've still got, 10 days left in the journey. You are currently, and have been for the past entire day, battling against a storm. So you are trying to move in one direction, but there is a crazy storm blowing you backwards. Now this storm is a metaphor, I guess, for the chaos of life, but you are almost out of that storm. You've been fighting it for the entire day, and you know, because now it is time for your bedtime, right? You're supposed to be going to sleep now, say 10 p.m., but you know that in 2 hours time, you'll get through the storm. So that's what you do. Imagine that you spend the next 2 hours, instead of going to sleep, you spend the next 2 hours fighting against the storm to get out of the storm. 2 hours later, after you would normally fall asleep, you finally get through the storm, and you then head back down and go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning at your usual time, because you've still got the alarm on for 6 a.m., when you wake up with barely 5 hours of sleep, you feel tired, groggy, unenergized, and are unable to put in good work. Not only that, your ship has drifted off course so far during the night because you never set down the anchor. The alarm that you set in the morning in this sort of example is the anchor that you set in the morning. And trying to set the anchor in the morning does not work because you've already lost all your progress, right? Not only that, you wake up tired and groggy, and instead of making progress, you now just have to do course correction. But imagine scenario number 2. This is the sailor who is fighting against the same exact storm. However, this sailor decides that he's going to go to sleep now and save his sleep schedule by setting his anchor down now. So it's 10 p.m. and he goes ahead and he sets his anchor down, even though he could get out of the storm over the next 2 hours. So he sets down the anchor and he goes to sleep. 6 a.m. rolls around and he wakes up and he's feeling energized, refreshed, and ready to work. Not only that, when he comes upstairs, his boat hasn't drifted off course at all, and the entire storm has passed. So today he feels energized, ready to work, and is purely making progress. There is no course correction because he set down the anchor, saving his progress. Now, he doesn't need to work harder that day to make more progress than sailor number 1. Because sailor number 1 let the chaos of life drag him further backwards, right? But before we get into the rest of this video, a little quick about who I am. Now, my name is Marley, I'm 19, from New Zealand, and I'm a self-made multi-figure entrepreneur, and I've been doing this for 14 plus months, right? And I want to give you a quick congratulations to clicking onto this video here, because this is a slow presentation and it's raw and unedited. So through this video, I'm going to be giving you as much information and knowledge into your brain as I can. I'm going to transfer as much knowledge I can to you so that you can actually succeed. Now, in this simple equation that I devised, where knowledge is K, hours that you work in a day is H, your focus level through that day is F, and your level of success is S. If you work 10 hours in a day, so equation number 2, if you work 10 hours in a day with a 50% focus level, and you only have a knowledge of the topic that you're working on of about a 3 out of 10, your success level through that day would be 15 points. But if you just increased your knowledge of that topic from 3 to 5, working the same amount of hours and the same focus level will give you almost double the return. And so this video is going to give you an increase in your base level of knowledge dramatically, meaning everything you do after this is always going to yield a much higher return than if you didn't watch this entire video. So watch till the end. Yes, I know it tells YouTube that you like this video and it recommends it to other people, but this is the only way you will actually understand what I'm saying. You can't just take half of a video and try and apply it to your life. It's like trying to take half of an equation and trying to use it to build a rocket ship, or half of a schematic and trying to build a building. You're missing the other half of it. It's not going to work, right? So watch through this entire video so you actually know how to do this. So, setting the anchors, becoming the tortoise versus the hares. We have 5 sections to cover, and we've just gone through the goal. We're then going to go into the intro, then why use anchors, when to use them, and what anchors to use. So, short intro. Every successful person you see online, what is a tortoise, right? Every successful person you see online is a tortoise selling the dream of being a hare. So every successful person you see online took a long time to get their success, yet they're selling the dream of quick success, meaning that everyone around you is trying to succeed quickly because they've all been sold the dream of being a hare, meaning they aren't taking the necessary precautions to maintain a steady pace to actually become successful, meaning they are constantly facing burnout, low motivation, lack of direction, so on and so forth. So this is a simple analogy, right? Imagine that you are this little boat in a sea of chaos. Now, you are in life as this boat. The sea of chaos is everything going around you. If you do not have a goal, you're just kind of getting blown around by the wind. You don't really have place that you're trying to go. So the wind and the waves and the chaos of life blows you around wherever it wants. But when you have a goal, like this white Aventador, you have a clear-cut path of where you want to go. And if you get knocked off of course, you know that this is where you need to get back to get to your goal. Right? So this is having direction and purpose. Now, with a goal, most people fail at setting goals. It sounds counterintuitive, but most people set goals that are designed to make them fail. And it sounds counterintuitive, right? Except every goal that you have set for yourself, whether that's make $10,000 a month before May or whatever, you've probably failed that, right? Pretty much every goal you've probably ever set, you've probably failed because you don't understand this principle. There's 5 principles that I will be talking about in this video. It's a 1 hour plus long video. It's coming out very, very soon. And this was taught to me by an 8-figure millionaire called Charlie Morgan. So that will come out soon to help you actually set goals you can achieve. Enough plugging. So the progress of a hare over roughly a day is they make a lot of quick yellow progress, right? Then the chaos of the day brings them all the way back down to about half of their progress, right? Whereas the progress of a tortoise is making slower but more strong and more consistent progress, and they set an anchor. So why actually use anchors? Now, we did just talk about it a little bit, but we'll go into more depth here. So using anchors allows you to work less than other people, yet keeping your total progress ahead of literally everyone else. So does that not sound cool? You can work less than everyone else, yet still make more progress than them. That sounds pretty freaking awesome to me. So if we look at this really simple graph, I'll only go through the first 3 weeks. When the hare works for that first week, they try and work 100 hours and they rush everything. Because they rush everything and they don't take the precautions, they face 50 hours of chaos. So after an entire week, their total is only 50 hours of productivity. Whereas the tortoise only works for 50 hours and faces no chaos, meaning they total at 50 as well. And after week 2, they're both even. Week 3 rolls around, The hare has only made 100 hours of progress, but has worked 200 hours of progress. The hare is fighting against himself and then realizes that and gets burnt out, demotivated, and just stops working. Gets no work done for all of week 3, and still loses 50 hours of chaos, resetting the hare all the way down to 50. Whereas the tortoise has only worked 100 hours and has gained 100 hours of progress. So the tortoise keeps working, right? By week 10, after another 2 burnouts from the hare has worked 200 total hours of progress, whereas the tortoise has worked 500 hours of progress. A 300-hour progress difference between the hare and the tortoise. For the hare to work 100 hours in a week, they have to work about 15 hours a day. Obviously, they're going to get burnt out when you look at that, whereas the tortoise just works 7 hours a day and still makes more than double the amount of progress after 10 weeks. So, when you are starting out on your journey, you probably won't have strong discipline, nor do you have experience or vast knowledge in being an entrepreneur, right? When you don't have incredible amounts of discipline, only working 50 hours a week is incredibly easy to do versus trying to force yourself to work 100 hours a week every single week. Not only that, you are completely inexperienced and probably can't even work for 100 hours a week because you don't know what to do, because you've never done it before, right? Playing Dark Souls is like entrepreneurship. It's incredibly difficult for people to do. Not only that, is you're playing it on a Guitar Hero controller. It's incredibly difficult to be a entrepreneur. Not only that, you've never done it before, and it's a completely new controller or a completely new idea and business model and way of thinking that you have no experience on it. Before, with the PlayStation controller, e.g. working at McDonald's, you've understood how to do that. You've got the muscle memory built into you where it's second nature and you can just do it. And then, to top it on off, you don't save your progress. Meaning, no matter how far you progress as an entrepreneur, one way or another, you're coming all the way back down to 0. Unless you set anchors. So this is what this video is teaching you, right? An anchor ignores your level of discipline completely because you probably don't have much anyway. You simply need to have a tiny amount of discipline required to sit down at night and set up your anchor. That's it. So when to actually use anchors? Now, most people will have one alarm in the morning at, say, 6 a.m. and that'll be all that they do. Except it doesn't work like that. We know that because of the simple story of the 2 sailors. The one that wakes up in the morning and sets the anchor, aka wakes up at an alarm at 6 in the morning, doesn't work. They make less progress than the person that sets the anchor last night. An anchor doesn't make you progress. It saves it, okay? So if we revisit the graph, it doesn't make you don't make more progress than the hare. You're just saving your work by never facing chaos ever, right? So that at the end of it, you make more progress than the guy that's not being saved. So when to actually set the anchor? When do you want to wake up? So without an alarm, because waking up naturally is always better for you because your body actually knows when to wake up, right? So for me, I want to wake up between 6 and 7 a.m. So from the earliest time, so 6 a.m., go back 8 hours. So at 10 p.m., that's when you want to go to sleep. So an hour before you go to sleep, so now at 9 p.m., that is when you turn off all technology so that by the time it hits 10, you can actually fall asleep and wake up naturally. Then 30 minutes before 9 p.m., or whenever you turn off technology, that's when you set down your anchors. But what anchors do you set? Now, it's really simple, and the way I set my anchors follows literally just 2 parts. It's reviewing the day and then planning it. So, reviewing the day. So, reviewing your day gives you a bird's eye view over everything. Not only that, it's unemotional. So, instead of trying to review what you just did in the moment, you're going to be emotional about it. So, think of it like having an argument with someone, or just having a conversation. When you're in the heat of the moment, you're not really thinking clearly because your emotions are going off and you're saying other things. But when you're alone at night, you have the perfect comeback to say in that conversation because you're able to think clearly without your emotions. So this is the same principle for why you review stuff at night. because you don't have that emotional attachment to it. You can actually judge the situation correctly. So the 4 steps that I take to review my day are real simple. Go over your achievements. So literally anything that you achieved. Note down any progress you made, whether or not you achieved any goals, anything. Then talk about your challenges. Any challenges that you faced, how they came up, how you dealt with them. Then you go over your learning. So literally anything that you learned today. Then go over your gratitude. Write down one thing that you're grateful for. No matter how small it is or how big it is, just one thing that you're grateful for. And that's it. Then the 4 steps that I take to plan tomorrow are, wait, real quickly, why plan tomorrow today? Right? Why not plan tomorrow when it is tomorrow? Because for the exact same principle as why we review the day, at the end of the day, you're unbiased. So tomorrow when I wake up, I'm probably going to feel tired and I'm probably just not going to want to do work, right? But if tonight, when I don't have emotional connection to myself in the future, I can write down, do this work now, do that work then do this, and then do that. When I wake up in the morning, all I have to do is follow that plan, right? I don't have the ability to get emotional about that plan because I wrote it down unbiased. I just need to follow it. Not only that, you do not want to be thinking in the morning. Like horrible. Your mind is barely awake. You know, it's still trying to figure out what time of day it is and what year it is, right? So trying to critically think about what actions you should take for that day, it's not going to do that. It's a recipe for disaster. So the 4 steps I take to plan tomorrow today or tonight is by prioritizing. So I write down what is the most important thing for me to get done today. So if this is the only thing that gets completed, it's a good bloody thing that it was completed, right? And then prioritize whatever else afterwards in order of prioritization and importance or deadlines or whatever. And then you go ahead and schedule it out. So allocate specific time blocks for when that is to happen. So if your most important thing is to film this YouTube video, schedule that to be the first thing that you do when you wake up. Then the next thing that you do, you schedule that afterwards. You can set specific times if you'd like. Otherwise, you don't really need to, but just schedule it out. Then prepare. Prepare your mindset. Visualize you working and doing successful things tomorrow. So completing this video. Visualize yourself finishing the video and feeling good about yourself. Or prepare your workspace for tomorrow. If it's a bit dirty, clean it up. Or get your clothes out for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning, you don't want to be thinking, right? But when you wake up, you can have all your clothes already there, so you just put them on and you can get to work. The next thing is to go over your mindset. So visualize your mindset. Think about who you are as a person and what your mindset is. Now, what I like to do is I like to write down a simple quote from either someone else or a simple quote that I made up that sort of summarizes my mindset. So I'll give you an example. It's, I don't have enough time to fail, right? There's only like 15 hours of daylight per day, or 12 hours to be specific. There's only 12 hours of daytime. You don't have enough time in a day to fail. If you work out what to do and when to do it, and you fill out all 12 hours, you don't have enough time to fail. But, that's my mindset. So this is the end of the video. So go back through and learn those 4 steps to review and to plan your day, because that will save you so much progress and allow you to become the tortoise that beat the hare in the race. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.